Okay.
So, hello everyone, welcome to the Gargi Arya show. And today we have another inspiring and a very powerful guest with us. Her name is Miss Sunint Kaur, and you know what? She's a woman beauty and wellness coach. She has been into this journey since last 12 years with a focus on nutrition, providing her clients with diet plans. And she soon realized that diet plans alone they were not enough for a healthy fat loss journey. And then she got certified in skincare. She has been a certified life coach, tarot reader. So she's a jack of all trades. She helps people. She's on this beautiful mission to help people get realize their beauty and potential inside out. So thank you so much, Sunint ma'am, for being here on the show. It's an honor to have you.
Same here, Gargi. Thank you so much for having me over.
Amazing. So, like, my first question to you is how did you get into this? Like, what's your triggering point? What was your point in life where you realized that I want to help people with this?
Okay, I think as a life coach, we all have the triggering point in our lives where we have been through something. So that's exactly what happened with me. Initially, when I started the course for nutrition, I was not happy with the corporate job. And I realized that my family was, probably looking outside for good nutritionists here and there. And which is when I thought, let me just study nutrition. And that subject, I think it intrigued me so much that I got into it. I got my degree into my nutrition. And then I started taking clients. Okay. This is something that's very close to my heart, that there was this one client that I was taking. I used to guide all my clients on all 360-degree levels. So I used to tell them how they can overcome food blockages, how they need to have the right breathing pattern. Food is not alone enough. But there was this client who was not doing emotionally and mentally. She was not keeping up well. And very lately, I got to hear from her family that she committed suicide, which is some 3 years back. Um, right then, I realized that by then I had already certified in nutrition and skincare. I was already going through my um, tarot and my Reiki classes and everything. So I was almost there, but I never thought that I'll combine all these things together. Uh, uh, the news of this girl committing suicide, I think that was the triggering point where I realized that just one of this is not enough. It's actually, it starts with you on the inside. If you are a trauma release coach yourself, right? So a lot of us now understand that if you're holding trauma here, any amount of food, diet, skincare, fitness routines that you do will never show up in your physical body, right? It starts from here. So that was my triggering point in life where I just thought that I need to, stand up and help the women out there to be in their best power. And when I say power, it's not we are taking control over the men in the society. They are the masculine as they should be, but women are also forgetting what actual feminine means to be. So that's how it started.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it because I believe that, every person, whatever they do, they have a story behind that. So, listening to your story, it's a very inspiring one that you went through something and then like started helping people with that. So, now my next question to you is, like, what's the importance of having a diet in your life or following a diet in your life? Because I think when it comes to health and when it comes to following nutrition, many people lose out their consistency. So, what
Yes.
advice would you like to give to them, the people who are inconsistent, and the importance of following it?
Okay. Gargi, first of all, when I say diet, I don't just mean physical food. It's physical food plus the other things that you're absorbing around you, right?
Okay.
That again impacts your physical, emotional, mental,
Yes.
spiritual, psychological, financial, all spheres of life,
Yes.
right? So the kind of reels that we are watching, the kind of movies that we are, watching, the kind of songs that we are listening to, plus of course the food plays a very vital role. So people who, I would say, one, that people who usually are not consistent, they have a root cause. It's not that they don't want to be consistent, they want to be consistent, but there is a root cause. So I just think that if we get to the root cause of this person, there is nothing that can stop them from following a good lifestyle. And by good lifestyle, I mean good nutrition, good diet in all ways and formats, right? So, my only advice to the people who are inconsistent in showing up for their own health is that they need to just sit down uh, by themselves or with a coach or a therapist and, just see inside, be aware of what is triggering that pattern of inconsistency. Once you know that, sky's the limit for you.
Absolutely. So it's like finding the root cause of why you're not able to be consistent. Great. Thank
Exactly.
you so much for sharing it. My next question to you is, when we talk about the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, when we talk about our mental health, our emotional health, so a lot of people, they are not able to understand even that, like उनको awareness ही नहीं होती है that they are going through certain issues in their life. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you like to give them to the people who are not able to break the pattern of their mental and emotional, destruction that's happening?
Right. That's a very beautiful question indeed. So I would say for people who cannot break the pattern, the first step is again awareness. One, they're not aware of what's happening in their life or what has happened in the past that could be stemming from their childhood. And the second issue is there are people who are aware about it, but they're so stringent about the fact that nothing can change that they don't want to change a thing about it, right? Which is what we call victim mindset. So, how do you get somebody out of victim mindset is when you start telling, showing them the good side of what life could be if they took that first step towards their journey of betterment. And by that, a lot of people think that they'll start losing on their current relationships, they'll start falling out of love, with their loved ones, right? That's not how it goes. That's not how it happens. I always believe that if you are the first person in your family who has starting the healing journey, there are other people in your family who will follow the pattern once they see that you're doing good for yourself. And when you're doing good for yourself, you'll automatically end up doing good for the people around you, right? So I would say that one advice that I would give to people who are scared of breaking the pattern is just it's okay that you're scared, but just take that first step towards your journey of betterment because there's nothing that's more releasing than to not be yourself, right? And being yourself is not easy. It doesn't come easy. It's like the upward hill. You have to have, some patience and the strength to walk up the hill.
Yes. Absolutely. I remembered the quote while listening to you that, when we step up for ourselves, we actually lose a lot of people who are not meant to go far with us. And
Yes,
sometimes these people are our own closed ones. So, like
exactly.
coming with this question itself, when we talk about right now, we are talking about lifestyle and reversing aging by simplifying your lifestyle. So basically, when it comes to lifestyle, there are a lot of people who are actually, having negative people in their own home. So, like,
Yes,
let's say they want to do something, but still negativity is coming from their own family members. And there's
yes,
a concept called loving people from a distance, which is not easy. So, what
yes.
advice would you like to give to such people?
Yes, I think as you beautifully said, loving people from a distance. And I say loving from the point of detachment, right? You can still love somebody by not being in their life, or maybe by physically being there and still being, still standing up for yourself, right? So that I think comes with setting up boundaries for yourself. Okay, I'll take a very small example. Let's say your own parent, one or both of your parents are uh, they are initiating that trauma response in you, and now that you're aware, you cannot snap down on them. right? But what you can do is, if you're a dependent, let's say if you're a dependent, because if you're independent, then you can just move out and you can have your distance while still keeping up with them. But if you're dependent, let's say, I think the best thing that you can do is just create those boundaries in your head, that where you are going to let them enter your auric field, which is your intimate space, which is emotional and mental basically, and where you do not let them enter, right? And by that I mean, let's say if your father or your mother is, let's say, shouting on you, and in that moment that you are sure that you did not do anything wrong, but from their perspective you've done something that's horrible. The first step to that is, while they are shouting at you, you just stay in the state of calm, and in your head start telling yourself that it's okay that they didn't do not feel that I did right. But you should be confident in yourself that what you did was just in the benefit of your higher self or the higher self of people involved, right? The moment you do that, you will automatically see energetically they cannot get to you, right? You'll be in your calm self. So any trigger, any trauma response, it just kind of gets us away from our own aura, right? So I would say, people, one, I think the people who most affect you are the people who are closest to you. A stranger saying something to me wouldn't affect me. Second, of course, yes, when the people who are the closest to you, they do or say things that are affecting you in ways that you cannot handle, zone out, right? And by zone out, I do not mean to say that disrespect them, do not listen to them. Listen to them, but just tell yourself that it is okay for them to be behaving in a certain manner, and it is okay for me to be not validating that on their face, right? That's all you can do. You validate the other by also validating yourself. That's the best we can do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this. It was a very bulb-on moment that, the moment you realize somebody is not, like they are not healthy to your mental, emotional, spiritual health, then just zone out. And zone out doesn't mean you cannot love them. You can love them by physically being there, but not actually, as you said, the detachment formula.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. My next question to you is a little bit on your energy. So right now you're very calm, soothing, at the same time you're energetic as well. So what keeps you balanced in this energy? So are there any rituals that you yourself are following?
Yes, I would say this came very hard to me. Okay. The first time I realized that I had anger issues. I had big time anger issues, and that was stemming from my childhood. All right. I had a parent who had anger issues, and I had taken it up, you know. So the moment I realized that I was losing on the people or the good moments in my life because of this anger, which is where I started studying about it, reading about it. So right now, if you ask me what helps me being in my calm self while also being in my strength, is whatever I do and say, I in that first split second, I always kind of ask myself, is there something that I'm looking for in this whole situation? If there is an instant gratification that I want, I refrain from acting in that manner. But when my perspective is giving, when my perspective is sharing, I automatically get into my calm self. And that is how I think as humans we are supposed to behave, which is what we say spiritual evolution, right? Spiritual evolution. So, spiritual evolution is realizing that you're not the center of the universe for yourself or for others around you. But yes, you have the power to change everything and anything around you. And that can only happen when you are in your calmest self. If you're trying to trigger a response in somebody else, then you're just kind of stopping yourself from that evolution that is waiting for you to happen. And the more you stop it, the more you have to deal with it. Maybe in terms of different people, different faces, right? So again, I would say detachment. is the thing that keeps you calm, right? You can even love your kids while being detached, right? So, which is what it is. Detach, take a pause, reflect, see what is your motive behind it, and then act.
Absolutely. Here I want to ask a question. Like detachment is something most of us find it very difficult because sometimes it can be a person, it can be our dream that we are too much attached to the results. And everybody talks about detachment, but nobody actually talks about how to detach, right?
Right.
So, what's your key to detachment? Like, what will you
Okay.
tell people? Ki how can you detach from a person or a thing that you are very much attached to?
Right. Uh, that's a beautiful question again. Thank you for asking. So I would say, Gargi, the first thing that I say when it comes to detachment is to appreciate the fact that you're a human, right? You cannot behave godlike 100 out of 100 times. There are times when you will behave like human, and which is what we are here for, right? So the first step to detachment is to appreciate your human behavior, right? The second step is that you again pause, reflect in that moment. What is it that is keeping you attached to the person or the dream or anything that you're looking out for? Again, I would say 100 out of 100 times, if you are spiritually conscious, the answer will be you are reflecting your fears, your traumas, your doubts on the person who you're attached to or on the dream that you want to, be able to achieve. If I have a fear of, let's say, water, my child is running towards the pool. She could be born with the skills of being the best, swimmer in the world. But if I am reflecting my traumas, my fears onto her, she'll probably never jump into the pool because it's that, right? So the first thing to detachment is you first detach from the situation itself. Look from the situation from afar. And then again see how you're responding to it. There shouldn't be any instant gratification that is attached to it. You don't want to want your child or your dream to happen because somebody is judging you for that. मेरा बच्चा ऐसा करता है, कोई लोग मेरे को क्या कहेंगे कि ऐसा पेरेंट है. स्टॉप इट. मैंने वो ड्रीम अचीव नहीं करी तो लोग क्या कहेंगे कि 4 साल से काम कर रही है और कुछ कर नहीं पाई. इट्स ओके. इट्स योर लाइफ, राइट? So detachment comes with acceptance of who you are and accepting your flaws first.
Absolutely love this definition that detachment comes with acceptance and accepting your flaws because without these flaws, you are not you. Thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing this. My next question to you is, like when we talk about health, there are a lot of people who take rest, but they feel guilty about taking rest. कि मुझे 24/7 I need to work. So, what advice, like, do you yourself take rest? So, like, any experience where you had guilt about taking rest? Because when we talk about health, ये concept बहुत ज़्यादा आता है that I take rest, but I feel like I am wasting my time. So, what
Yes.
advice would you like to give them?
I would say again, 10 out of 10 times, this happens because we've seen our parents cursing themselves for taking rest, right? Again, that's a childhood trauma response. The moment you're aware that, that you're taking rest makes you feel guilty. The first step to that is again awareness. So if somebody is asking you or me or life coach a question that make rest like guilty hota, that's a beautiful thing that they're asking that because that just means they're aware. Now, what is the next step that one can do is again appreciate the fact that they're humans, not machines. Even machineries need rest, right? आप 24 घंटे एसी चलाते हो अगर तो आप कहते हो 4 घंटे बंद कर देते हैं बहुत देर से चल रहा है. फोन को हर 24 घंटे में एवरीबडी से 5 मिनट्स के लिए ऑफ करना चाहिए. So why does your body not need rest? And the fact that your body is asking for rest says a lot that you're not giving the body the rest. So, like I would say, God has different steps of teaching you that you need to work on your trauma, which is how I heard this somebody says, someone say this, कि भगवान पहले आपको ना एक छोटा सा सिग्नल देता है आपके हेल्थ में कि कुछ गड़बड़ है, please listen to yourself, take rest. And that छोटा signal could be maybe a cough or a sneeze. You do not listen to. Okay. The next signal that you'll have is your body will catch fever, right? Now, fever is again that body's response towards fighting the disease. You again don't take rest. The next response could be you have a bad bowel issue. You could be just down with diarrhea. You still don't listen to it. The last step is that you will be taken to the hospital because you've lost a lot of water in your body because of diarrhea and you fainted, right? So when you don't listen to your body stops going to listening to you. So every time you know that you're feeling guilty for taking rest, tell yourself that if I'm not taking rest right now, then probably I won't be able to operate at all. So yes, I love taking rest. My rest is very important to me. I don't have particular days or timings when I say that I'll take rest. Since we are in our own businesses, it's not that Sunday meri chutti hai ya Monday mera working hai. No. But I schedule my days in ways that I know that I'm taking pauses. And I love taking those pauses because I love reflecting on what I've done and what I can do better. So, rest does not just mean sleeping in bed. Do that if you want to, if your body wants to. Don't feel guilty about it. But rest also means taking pauses and seeing how you have been behaving and acting in situations and how you can do that better. Because as humans, we'll always have scope of improvement.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this because like mostly हमें लगता है rest is like sleeping on bed or just making social media your best friend and scrolling. But here you have given a very new definition that rest can also mean reflection. So I
Yes.
think this is one of my biggest takeaways from this podcast. My next question to you is any mistakes people are doing around skincare, any top 2 or 3 mistakes, and how can they start overcoming it?
Okay. So there are many, but I'll talk about my top two or three that I see that people do. One, people work on the face, not on the neck. Okay. So your neck is a passage, it's a pathway to your body, to your face, and also your scalp. So when you start working on this pathway, your body will automatically pump up good nutrition, oxygen, blood supply to your face, which is where you'll have a healthy looking skin and healthy hair. And it will also, start throwing out the toxins from your body via, the urine passage. So I would say, as you're working on your face, work on your neck as priority. Even if you don't work on your face, that's okay. Work on your neck. And this is for all age groups, right? The second mistake that people sometimes just go for quick fixes. Not that I have not done that in my life, pimple aa gaya, toothpaste laga lete hain, garlic ragad lete hain. Doesn't work like that. You again need to go to the root cause कि वो पिंपल क्यों आ रहा है और वो बार बार आ रहा है या वो किस phase of life पे आ रहा है. What is it that you're not dealing with? What is it that you're not processing inside of you? Why is teenage acne so common? Because once you entered the phase of teenage, which is where you realize कि shit, मेरे मम्मी पापा में भी flaws थे, मेरे mom dad मेरे best heroes थे, वो नहीं है. They have made flaws. So the moment you start coming in sync with the fact कि वो भी humans हैं, they have also had their traumas and they couldn't give you the kind of parenting that you wanted, that's okay, right? So that's the second mistake that people are doing. People are not going on the root cause and going for quick fixes. And the third major thing that I think people are doing is they're not hydrated enough. Water is very, very, very important. And when I say that, that is again, I would say, taking all spheres of your life. You talk about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Water comes from earth. It is directly connected to earth. It keeps us grounded. it automatically keeps us hydrated, and that hydrated skin is always going to shine. It's always going to shine. So be hydrated.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing it. I really like that second point because like most of the times जब भी हमारे physical disease होते हैं or anything comes up, we're always trying to fix the physical body, but we don't go inside कि कुछ अंदर process नहीं किया तभी वो बाहर आ रहे हैं. So I think that was the major bulb again. So my last question to you would be if anybody wants to join in any of your workshop or programs if you are doing, so what's the way forward to it?
Okay. So initially, Gargi, I would say we were taking cases like on weekly basis, right? Now we are moving from weekly to monthly basis. So if anybody has any questions, wants to take, a consultation with us and wants to join us, they will find the details of everything that we are doing in the highlights, and they can join us. Right now, we are doing one-on-ones. So what we are doing is that we will be taking a month of, your time, and we are going to provide you a set number of classes. And the first call, we are going to understand what is the concern that you're going through, and then the classes will guide you forward in how you can improve your food, your mental and emotional health, your lifestyle practices. That also includes skin, customized to your own needs. See, there's everything on internet these days, everything. But what suits you better, that is where we guide you. We just simplify our routine, that even if you're a school going student, a working corporate, a mother of 2 3 who doesn't have time to take care of herself, we are there for you. We're going to simplify your routine, and we are going to tell you how you can look beautiful, reverse age, and still be in your best mental and emotional state.
Love it. So everyone, I would love for all of you to check out all the links in the description because one thing I want to tell you, what she shared here is not even a teaser of what she's creating in her community in with her one-on-one community, right? So I would love for all of you to go and check on the links because you know what? It's your choice whether you want to stay where you are or whether you want to take that action step and change your life for once and for all. So, any last message you want to give to all the people who are watching?
Yes. One and the only message that I would love to give them is that you matter. Your mental and your emotional health matters. Please stop looking for validation from people who you care about, from your parents, from your loved ones, your spouses, or your kids. You matter for who you are. You do not need any validation from anybody out there. It just comes from here. So you take care of yourself and you just work on yourself. Once you work on yourself, you'll automatically feel that the world around you is a better place to be.
Absolutely. So it's like the biggest project to work on is not your school project, not your job, but just you.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Sunint ma'am, for sharing every single thing that you did right now. Because it was like every single thing when you were sharing, it was a major bulb on and a very new, like perspective towards the things. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much everyone for for being here. And I'm going to see you in the next podcast with another guest. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gargi, for having me over and for asking such beautiful questions. It was bulb on for me too. Like, you could just ask me everything that, I cover in my one-on-ones. Thank you so much. It was lovely catching you. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Bye. Take care.